Hello. Would you like to play a game? How about you catch 'em all?
That's right. This is Gaming is in Session. We have another action-packed episode. Alex, I'm so filled. I'm so filled for you. I've got my little ears waggling, and we are so full of content, and it's got to go somewhere on the listeners' faces. That's the only place for it to go.
Do you think that Pikachu, when he finishes, lightning comes out?
Oh yeah, that's his finishing move for sure.
That's where
That's
the lightning comes from.
Oh, see, I didn't do a deep dive in the anatomy of Pikachu, but I think you're very much correct. Today, if you're wondering why I'm wearing this ridiculous thing, one, I love it. Two, it's almost Halloween, coming in a month, and three, the Scarlet and Violet Pokemon 151 came out today, and so we're gonna be opening up some packs. But before we gotta get down to brass tacks, we got some gamer juice to talk about. Alex loves Armored Core. I don't know why. I need to know why. We just need to dive into it, Alex. And I'm going to start us off. I have two gamer juices because one of them is a mini juice. It's Mr. Cucumber. And what this is, I don't know if this is it's a sparkling cucumber beverage. Is there any way that this isn't just absolutely atrocious?
I think the sparkling will be good. I think the cucumber is going to ruin it. Like, cucumber sounds like it's refreshing, but then when you get hit with vegetable aftertaste, that's when it's like, okay, I'd be happier if there was just no flavor.
Well, smells like cucumber.
Yeah, take a sip. Take a sip, Haas.
Oh, it's like I betted Mr. Cucumber's wife. Oh, it's bad. I mean, it tastes like cucumber. I mean, I guess that's the thing. If you don't like cucumber, you're not going to like it. I don't dislike cucumber, but this is there is cane sugar in here, so it's not just like straight cucumber.
Okay.
But
it's like a sweet cucumber.
Mm-hmm. It's very. If I took my magic bullet, I put a little bit of water in there. I put a cucumber and a dash of sugar. That's what this tastes like. But I have to live with my choice. Alex, did you choose more wisely than I?
I let my wife choose. She went to the ethnic grocery store and I told her to pick out my gamer juice, make it something weird. She got me this drink. It's called Maku. It's pronounced makgeolli is the official. It's Korean. It's unfiltered rice beer. Unfiltered rice beer. It brewed in Korea. We're gonna.
I don't know what any of that means. So.
I don't know either. It's a white. I like the design of the can. To be honest, the simplistic nature.
Yes,
of it.
Yes.
It's a good design. Although it's just paper wrapped around the can. I wonder if it's like, oh, there goes acrylic. Okay. Let's see. I don't. Whew. It lures you in, making you think it tastes just like a normal beer, and then it starts hitting you with some weird flavors, like rice type flavor. It's not bad. It's just
so it's alcohol.
It's alcohol. It's 6% alcohol. It said shake gently before opening. I didn't shake at all, which is maybe that's why but it's too late to shake it now, right?
Hey, remember, if you shake it more than 3 times, you're playing with it.
And it's the size of a grain of rice too, so it's like perfect.
It's tough. You need tweezers.
If I touch it, I'm shaking it on accident.
Okay, so we want to start off here. Alex, I am having trouble. Before I hop into my whole freaking thing, I want to know what you're playing.
Yeah, I want to know what you're playing too, Adam, because I think there's something there. But I've been, for better or worse, a little bit of a hiatus of the PSVR. I've been really busy. Haven't had time to dig into some of the in-depth games on PSVR. So I've just been kind of farting around with some games. recently Nintendo announced they shadow dropped F-Zero 99. Adam, do you know what Tetris 99 is? Have you heard of that?
I sure do.
Yeah. So Nintendo plays around with the idea of like these battle royale games. They made like a Mario 99. There was like a Pac-Man 99 that was pretty fun. F-Zero 99 is my jam, baby. You ever play F-Zero on the SNES?
Sure did.
Yeah, imagine that online with 99 other people.
So I don't understand. So you just,
it's awesome.
At what point do you lose?
It is a race. It's a 3-lap race. And the way you start is there's like a giant starting line. Everybody starts at the front of the starting line. It's giant, 99 characters long, and it all funnels in. And then it goes over a jump, and the race starts when you get on the actual track. So it's the actual tracks from the game. And
wow,
you all start at the same point, and then you try to jockey yourself in a position up to the actual track and then jump over.
Okay, see, the way Tetris worked is everyone started, and then each individual person eventually loses. So then people keep getting eliminated till there's only one more. But this is just one big race with 99 people.
Well, remember F-Zero, like the thing that's hard about F-Zero is that you could totally blow up in the middle of the race, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Wipeout, right? You could shoot somebody, kill them, Wipeout. And this, you hit the side, you take damage. You bump into like the wrong car, or a car blows up next to you, you take damage. And so you get these little moves. You hit the shoulder button, you do a spin move, and that can like damage the cars next to you. So like you're constantly balancing this thing of like, also your boost takes away your health meter. So you're constantly balancing, like, do I want to boost to get ahead? If I do, then I can take less hits before I blow up. And so if you blow up, you're out of the race. You can come back as like a dummy car and then try to wreck other people too. And then there's like other weird stuff, like there's a golden car, and if you hit it, you get these golden points. And if you get the golden points, it takes you on like a higher level course. It's super fast, and it's like a highway, like an interstate for the course.
So what's the highest position you've ever gotten?
69. No, I got like 53 or 42 or something like that. I haven't played it that much. There's strategy to it. I don't know. But the thing is, it's really nice. You can hop in, jump into a race, have just a good time playing F-Zero, even if you're not trying to win, and you're done in like a minute, right? And then they have like Grand Prix races where you do the normal races and you get tickets. And if you get enough tickets, you can register for a Grand Prix, which is like a 3-race circuit. So you don't have to win first place in every single one to win the Grand Prix. You just have to do consistently higher than everybody else. So I love it because it's a reinvention of F-Zero on the SNES. It's a great way, and I would love to see more games come back like this. I hope they keep doing it. But that's one thing I've been playing.
Finished in 1 minute. Story of my life. Listen, here's the thing. The Tetris, I don't want to brag. I played Tetris 99 4 times my entire life. I was playing at a friend's house who had a Switch because I do not have one. And the first 2 times were rough because the Switch controllers are weird. The 4th time I got 3rd. I never eventually won it because I only played four times, but I think I could have won it had I, played enough. So
that's impressive. I think the best I ever did, I got like 3rd or 4th one time. I was just farting around at my friend's house. Let me have a go, and I got 3rd or 4th. Like, how'd you do it? I'm just good at Tetris, man. Every other time after that, 30th place.
I was gonna call bullcrap. Okay, what else are you playing?
Vampire Survivors. Did I talk about this last time, Adam?
I'm not sure, but you have told me about it, and
have you played it?
I have done nothing about it in terms of playing it. But you have.
Do you have it? It's like $2 everywhere. I played it. So here's the thing.
Is it on PlayStation?
I think now it is. So this game came out on PC. So I got it when I got my Steam Deck and played it. And when you first look at it, it's like the graphics are like 8-bit, right? And all of these really low res.
That's right. You gave me this game, and I still didn't play it.
I started playing it because I was like, I like Castlevania. This seems inspired by Castlevania. But what it is a game where you move your character around, and that's basically all you do. The only input is you can move your character around, and they will automatically attack. And you get these different weapons, but then when you level up, you get more attacks, or you level up your attacks. And so you start out just like throwing a whip out in front of you, and the enemies just come in off screen, and they kind of congregate towards you. And if they touch you, you get hurt. That's kind of how the game works. But it gets incredibly addictive because you start getting power-ups, and you get all these new weapons, and the enemies get stronger, and they come at you. Well, I played a bunch. I stopped playing for a while. It came out on Switch, so it's always like $2. It's the most brilliant thing. Everybody can buy it because it's so cheap. Played it on Switch, got super addicted. Turns out it's on Android now too. So I burned through that bad boy on my phone. I've been playing it nonstop anytime I'm pooping, and I poop a lot. And dude, it's an addictive game. I've burned through it on my own again, but like if you're ever listening to an audiobook or a podcast and you just need something to occupy your like eyes and hands while you do that, perfect game for that. It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I've sometimes I have problems. I'm watching a football game while have a TV show beside me and playing a game. Mine's been Hades, where I can just kind of mindlessly play it. I don't need to listen to the music or what's being said, or it's just repetitive, kind of like that. And I'm fully stimulated. It's wild.
Oh yeah. No, I think there's something about like your brain, right? Like your left brain can play the game and your right brain can listen. And it's like the perfect way to absorb information. But Adam, how you liking Hades?
It's very good. It is very good. I've beaten it now. I don't know how many times, because each time you complete the run, a little bit more of the story shows up. I've beat everything, all the main storylines. I think there's still some like little things that I haven't done, but I don't know what to do to make them done. But I play it just because, like you just said, it's something to do while I don't have to fully be invested in something else. It's my go-to game when I'm traveling. I have a work trip coming up soon, so I'm going to be playing it on the plane and in the airport. Good stuff. I'm excited for Hades 2 coming out, I think, early next year, if I remember correctly. So
I've played Hades. Again, I played it on Switch and I played it on, I think I have it on PlayStation. I mostly played it on Steam Deck. I've never finished a run. Never. Are you playing on like the God mode where you like get a little bit stronger each time you die?
I did. I played for a while without it, and then I got to the point where I wasn't progressing anymore. So I did. I don't know. I got maybe 20% damage taken off before I started beating it. And then it's once you figure it out, you can beat it fairly easily. Like I couldn't tell you the last time I've died on a run.
Oh, see, I can't. I'm up to like 50% damage reduction, and I still can't beat it.
Oh wow!
I don't even think I made it to Hades. I made it to that area that's like Cerberus, and you got to go to like the 4 areas. I'm like
that one does suck. But you must suck harder because Hades sucks. But yeah. Okay.
What weapon do you use? I want to know. I did not expect you to like Hades, Adam. What weapon do you use primarily?
There's a weapon that it chooses for you that you get added gems and.
So you use whatever the bonus weapon is.
Yeah, I use whatever the bonus weapon is. So I beat them all with all the weapons.
That's ingenious. I do the same thing.
I actually think like the fists are the easiest one.
Really?
Because you just keep dashing and mashing your special and you can avoid them.
I mashed your mom's special last night.
Boom. The ante. We got to talk about the antes before I jump into my games. So my aunt, I love her dearly, but we were walking with her dog on a leash. Alex and I were talking about her aunts before this went live. And then I talked, my poor aunt, she ate the earth because the dog saw a squirrel or something, ran right ahead of us. You know, of course, you're walking a dog, so it's startling. It pulls you a little bit, but she was okay. But then the dog ran behind her, then saw the squirrel again, went on the other side of her, ran back ahead of her, tripped her. She face planted into the ground, man. I laugh, and I mean, it was so, I've never seen anyone just body earth contact like that. Not in skateboarding videos, not in fail YouTube videos, compilations, nothing. It was something to behold, but then I felt awful because I'm laughing because I'm a horrible person. She broke some ribs.
Oh, I wish you would have told me that before I started cracking up at the story.
No, I mean, she's okay now, but it just anytime someone falls or biffs it, I laugh. I can't help it, even though it's not funny. The concept of someone falling for some reason is just hysterical to me, and I love it.
You remember that time that we went to go see roller derby, and like it was when you and I were like first hanging out with our friends in our class, first getting to know each other. And we were like, let's all go do something together. Let's go watch roller derby. We were down there. They call it the splash zone or something, where you could they might crash into you. And right in front of us, there was one girl, and she got knocked over, and then the biggest girl on the other team landed right on the other end of her foot, and there was a pile up, and then as people were standing back up, we just heard and the girl lifted up her leg and her foot was dangling with the skate. Oh, Adam, you weren't laughing then. I think we were too close to the danger.
Dude, I heard it. I thought it was the shin.
Yeah, it was I said femur. Yeah, it was her shin. It was her lower foot. But yeah, I heard the pop. It was disgusting. It was just a dangling participle, man. It was wild. it was the most gruesome thing I think I've ever seen. It was so bad that everybody was just like, no, this roller derby match isn't done. And everybody just kind of once they knew she was okay, just got up and just kind of left quietly.
Yeah, the whole place was in disarray.
It was, I couldn't believe it. Okay, anyways, let's lighten it up, Adam. Adam,
I've already drank Mr. Cucumber, so now I'm going in with this. I don't know what this is. I couldn't read it. Noel C. Cola?
There you go. That's Coca-Cola. That's French for Coca-Cola.
No, I don't believe you. Von der Anderen Site der Vour?
Where'd you get it? Jungle Gym?
Jungle Gyms. On the top, it does say real soda, so I know it must be soda. It's white, so it's clear. It's got to be what? Cream soda or something?
Cream something. Oh, how is it?
Just tastes like sugar water. It's not bad. It just tastes straight up like sugar water.
It's real sugar water soda. Adam.
So here's my dilemma, Alex. I have been trying for about 2 weeks to find a game to play. And you wouldn't think this would be very difficult. I can't find a game I like. I have perused PlayStation Plus. I've even looked on the PlayStation Store, being willing to pay money to play a game.
No, you haven't.
I really have. I can't find one. I've tried Code Vein. I've tried Inscription.
How was Inscription? I've heard great things about Inscription. You didn't like it?
I played for about an hour, and it was just it seems unfair. You die and they help you a little bit, but not enough. There are some circumstances that are set up. There's no way. You can't, I don't understand.
Is it one of those games where you're supposed to die a bunch and then you slowly stop dying?
I don't know.
Like Hades.
Yeah, I know, but Hades, you could tell you were getting better.
Okay.
I can't tell I'm getting better, and it just, I don't know. Horizon Forbidden West. I'm going to give that one. I'm still playing that one, but I'm just not really feeling it,
Is that does that feel like Zelda for grown-ups? That's what I've always thought about the game. I never wanted to play it. I'm just kind of not interested in those flashy games, but
I haven't played a recent Zelda game in so long, it's hard to tell, to be honest. It's okay. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't get my jimmies rolling.
What are you looking for? I know. Okay.
Oh, I'm not done, sir.
Yeah,
I'm not done.
Go through the list.
I've tried Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
I kind of like the concept. The idea and the controller usage is cool. Some of the worst combat and gameplay I've ever played in my life. It's so stiff and slow. No freaking way. And there was one other game I tried. What the heck was it? And I got, the thing is Ghostwire Tokyo I played. Oh, it was Lost Judgment. I was playing Lost Judgment, but then on the Steam Deck, it crashed and it won't play anymore. And now I don't want to replay the 3 hours I've already played on the PlayStation to catch back up. So each game I've played anywhere from, I would say on average 2 to 3 hours. So I'm trying to get in enough to realize, do I like this? And then make the decision. And just, I don't know if really I'm not in the mood to play games. I don't know if I've had bad luck. I don't know what it is, but it's very aggravating. And thank goodness I haven't been paying for these games, but I remember when I played Final Fantasy 16, I was in it. You're playing Armored Core. You're in it. You're enjoying it. That's what I want. That's not what I'm finding.
Yeah, I know what you mean, right? Sometimes you play a really good game and you have like a gaming hangover where like nothing else is just making you feel the way that game did. Like when I got done playing Near Automata, I was like, I don't know what to do next. I don't know where to go next. Nothing's going to make me feel the way I felt playing that game. And also replaying that game isn't going to give me the magic that I felt for playing it the first time, right? Yeah, and it's rough too, because you go from like a superb game, sounds like Final Fantasy 16 to you is just like one of the greatest games you've played, at least part of it. And now you're having to go to like all these games that are probably good, but they just don't hold a candle. And it's like, I'm just wasting my time. But you're right. Yeah. Armored Core is a similar thing for me where there's a difference between you play a game you like to play and like you have some free time, you don't mind spending it playing this game. And then when you play a really good game, it's like, I am doing this at the expense of other things in my life because this game is so good. Right.
Yeah. Big time.
And
Dude,
you're looking...
I feel like we're on the same wavelength. It's like you're my shirt brother in gaming. It's
shirt
awesome.
Shirt brother in gaming. We don't have the same shirt, but yeah, it's I'll be your shirt brother. Send me your shirt so I can wear it and we can be shirt brothers.
Yes, we'll just take our shirts off.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's exactly. And it's like I guess I just keep shuffling through games.
I'm trying to think of like, because I mean, I went through the PlayStation Plus catalog to try to find something for you to play, and I know your taste in games, but sometimes it's hard to judge. Like, I wouldn't peg you to be a guy to like Hades, but apparently you like Hades.
I mean, like what I did is I bought Stranger of Paradise again. Great game, really enjoyed it.
Did you get it on Steam Deck or did you buy it on PlayStation?
I bought it on PlayStation.
You should have got it on Steam Deck. That way you could take it with you, man.
I want the full PS5 experience.
The grandeur. You want the grandeur.
Regardless, but before we move on, if you have suggestions, audience, please hit us up. We got, of course, the YouTube. We got contact at playpsvr.com. It's our other podcast. So absolutely hit me up. Alex, is giving me suggestions. They've all sucked, but maybe yours won't. What doesn't suck, you say Armored Core is the anti-Adam game. Yeah. I want you to prove to me why. Maybe that's the game I'll play just to spite you.
Adam, I would love it if you got into Armored Core 6. So Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon. This is the 6th game in the Armored Core series, and admittedly, I and probably every other person that's played this game, aside from maybe 10,000 people, have never played an Armored Core game before besides this one. It's a long-running series known for like mech customization. You know what mech is, right, Adam?
Oh, yeah. People
getting inside giant robots and shooting a ton of missiles, shooting laser guns, shooting Gatling guns, stuff like that. This is what this game is about. It's made by From Software, so this is a company that people love from Dark Souls, Demon Souls, and Elden Ring. And after they made this huge splash with those games, they've finally taken all that money they've gotten from those games, all the knowledge they have from those games, and pumped it into a new Armored Core game. So everybody's really excited about it. And I was excited about it. I don't really like to pre-order games, but I pre-ordered the hell out of this. And I got it on PlayStation 5, and I'm playing it, and I've beaten it once. Adam, you know me. I don't beat games. I've beaten it once. I'm about to beat it a second time. I plan on beating it a third time because it's got that whole Nier Automata New Game Plus, different ending stuff that I got to figure out what's going on. But Adam, this game, everything about this game makes me think you're not going to like it. One, you don't strike me as a mech guy. Have you ever played a mech game?
I have VR, and that's VR unfair, but they sucked. I don't like the concept. I did play... Where was I? I think I played one flat. They're just so slow.
So that's okay. This is a fast mech game because you can walk, right? You walk, you have legs, but right out of the gate, they're like, hit the O button and you boost. And you're boosting the whole time. So instead of walking, you're almost like skating around the environment, gliding around the environment with these boosters. And the whole premise of the game is that you're, quickly moving, jumping, dodging, dashing, because you're fighting other mechs that are moving really quickly. In this game, you're like a person who's had this surgery where they're basically a vegetable, except they can connect to these robots and control the robots as if it's their own body. And you get launched onto this planet called Rubicon, and there are these other mercenary or corporation groups trying to get this resource called coral, a metaphor for oil, on this planet. And you're a mercenary who just gets hired by each group to fight each other and try to jockey for position to get access to this substance called coral. And as a result, you're getting money. You get money, you upgrade your mech. And so the name of the game is basically go do a mission. Missions take like anywhere from 5 minutes to like 10 or 30 minutes, something like that. You go in there, you fight a bunch of other robot mechs that are out there, and you get money and you go and buy new weapons, buy new equipment. And really the fun part is that you get these new equipment, you can customize your arms, customize your legs. Your legs have different things that they allow you to do. You get some legs that are like reverse chicken legs, and so you can jump really high if you have them. You got like a tetrapod leg. The tetrapod leg allows you to like jump up and then hover and then attack from the sky. You get tank tread legs, so you're just running around like a tank, or you just get normal legs and you just act like a normal person, and there's benefits to that because you can jump around. But really, you're looking at a lot of stats. You're looking at a lot of different ways you can manage your weapons. But so all of that's fun. The gameplay is really fun. You're like locking on missiles, shooting those. You're shooting assault rifles. You got grenade launchers. There's all these beautiful explosions. You got melee weapons. You're doing like boost maneuvers and like crashing into other robots. The gameplay is like immaculate. When the game came out, the reviews were like really good, but not great. And a lot of people complained about it because they were like, yeah, the game's really good. The story's not so hot. And I want to come on the podcast and say, this is one of the best gaming stories that I've ever experienced. And I think what's happening is people want to be spoon-fed the story. You play Kingdom Hearts, you watch a cutscene for 40 hours, and they're just telling you exactly what's going on in the story.
Yeah, that's not true at all. That is not true.
Okay, not Kingdom Hearts. I can't talk about Kingdom Hearts anyways. But the thing is a lot of video game stories are all about telling you what's happening and not like showing you what's happening and putting things together. In this game, the whole story is like a meta narrative. You have to put two and two together, the fact that like, oh, I'm this guy who's not a part of any team, and I have to pick up radio chatter when I'm going on these missions to figure out what's happening between these two teams. And then as the story progresses, you start putting more two and two together, start to pick up the metaphors that's occurring in the game, the deeper meaning of the story that's occurring in the game. And then once you get to New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus, you start to see the repercussions of your story. And I'll be damned, the game is affecting. Who would have thought a game that literally has zero human beings in it, zero visible human beings in it, no faces, no cutscenes, just dialogue and robot action, could have one of the best stories in a video game that I've ever seen? I don't know, Adam. I'm loving the hell out of this. I think it's the anti-Adam game because you will die. You will get your butt kicked, and you'll get your butt kicked a lot, and it'll be frustrating. And I know when that happens, you get mad when the game is being cheap to you, and you don't want to play it anymore. You think it's unfair, you uninstall it, and you throw it out the window. That's why I'm not going to send you my copy of the game, Adam, because you're going to throw it out the window. I won't be able to play it anymore. What could I say to you, Adam, to make you want to play this?
So in virtual reality, I played Zone of the Enders Mars. Yeah. That's a mech game, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a lot like that. This is a lot like, I mean, Zone of the Enders Mars. I mean, that story is like heavy-handed. They really hand it to you. But the action's very similar. You lock on, you're dashing around, circle strafing, shooting missiles, shooting lasers. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't like completely love it, but I don't know how much of that is the gameplay and how much of that is the utilization of virtual reality, right? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of hard to tell. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to have to watch gameplay, and I'm going to have to see what's this, what's it look like? Is it really fast paced? And I mean, you're right. Dying repeatedly, I don't like. I can just put an easy, maybe. Is there an easy mode?
I mean, the easy mode is like you can build a mech that can. There are a couple builds of the mechs that you can do that kind of make some of the missions trivial. And that is one important thing is you're expected to customize your mech a lot, right? I mean, a lot of these games like Demon Souls or these RPGs, you're like, I'm going to be this class of character. And then you optimize that class and you go through the game with that style of gameplay. I'm a magic person or I'm a warrior or something like that. In this game, it's expected that in between missions, I might change my legs and become a tank for this mission. And for the next mission, I'm going to become this nice little nimble jumping robot that does all these missile stuff. And the next one, I'm going to have a guy that has a big sword and slashes the robots and stuff. So if you're willing to customize and do some, troubleshooting, trial and error, you can make a lot of the missions easy because there's some missions where it's like, if I could just hover as a tetrapod, I can lay waste to everything. If there's missions where I'm just a tank and I can just absorb a ton of damage, the mission is going to be easy. So there is an easy mode if you go that route, but there's not explicitly an easy mode that like you'll just have no problem playing the game.
Yeah, I wish there were more games where so many of the games nowadays, the enemies scale with you. So although you're a lot stronger at the end of the game, you don't feel like it because the enemies scaled with you. I would like a game that when I play in the time and I work, I am clearly superior than everyone else and I can just wreck them. Think about like, did you ever play Symphony of the Night?
Yeah.
Castlevania?
And you go back to the first levels and it's just like nobody can touch you because you're just
yes, that's what I want. That is awesome. Like, just you hit them and they like explode, even, right? Like, it's just like, okay, this dude, he's a demigod, he's a friggin' beast. That's what I want.
Did you like Symphony of the Night? For some reason, I didn't peg you as a guy that would like Symphony of the Night that much.
I think I saw it being played. I didn't actually personally play it.
But I mean, this gives you that feeling because the majority of enemies you fight are just like standard mechs. They're called MTs. You're an AC in Armored Core. These are MTs. They're like mass-produced mechs. And you kill those guys in like 1 or 2 hits. And it's like fun to think of like, oh, how can I kill all these guys in 1 hit? Or what can I do to like kill them most efficiently? But then you run into trouble when you have the boss fights. The boss fights are where things get rough. But that's fun too, because that allows you to really fine-tune your craft and how the game is played. So man, Adam, if there's anything that piques your interest about this, let me know. I'll send you this copy of the game once I finish it in about 2 weeks because I'm going to keep playing it nonstop.
2 weeks.
I bought this game thinking I would like it. I had no idea I would freaking love it. It's got me wanting to go into the back catalog and play all these old janky Armored Core games. On the PlayStation Plus, they got Armored Core 1. I'm probably going to do that once I finish this.
I mean, the only reason I'm even somewhat intrigued is you mentioned it's as good as Nier, which I can't fathom a game whose story is as like not topsy-turvy, but like Nier had me everywhere. I thought I knew what was going on, then I didn't know what was happening, and then they gave me a curveball, and then there was a second curveball, and then it wrecked my soul, and then I was like, what the F just happened? And then there was another ending, and then that ending was better than the first one, and the third ending was better than the second one. It just never ended. I can't imagine something being better than that, or even as good, honestly. I love Kingdom Hearts. It is not spoon-fed to you, by the way. It's why I like it. There's so much depth and backstory, but for this game to have that type of plot does intrigue me. But is it worth the... How long is a playthrough?
I think I've played it for like 30 hours, and I'm almost done with 2 playthroughs, something like that.
So, yeah, that's a decent long... I mean, but if you like the game, it doesn't matter, right? Who cares? Yeah. Like I've
it's about 15 hours for the play. I will say the story is very different from Nier Automata, right? I mean, Nier Automata goes into like philosophical territory. It's really plucking at your heartstrings. This is different kind of stuff of like, oh, this character dies, and like you feel bad out of empathy, right? Like you feel bad having to have to kill that guy, or you feel bad for the way that guy was abandoned, or things like that. And it requires you to kind of put things together a little bit because the game doesn't tell you like you're supposed to feel bad right now. But then when you reflect on what just happened, that's what kind of brings the emotion to the game. Which I think is a clever... How many
times have you cried?
Every time I play the game.
I knew
Every time I kill another mech, I cry. And I think that's right. What makes me a good Armored Core pilot.
I knew it. Alex, can you quickly run through the biggest gaming news that we have from Gamescom?
Yeah, from Gamescom.
Or not Gamescom. Or also Gamescom. That was several months ago. But
this isn't any like gaming announcement news, but this is the biggest news story in the gaming space right now. Adam, do you know what Unity is?
Yeah.
Yeah, the game engine Unity.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a game engine is what people use to make games, right? It's like all these programs that are pre-configured so you can make games. Unity is one of the most popular ones out there. A lot of people make them. They make mobile games. Most of our PSVR games are made in Unity. Mm-hmm. And they just announced that they're upgrading their terms of service for it so that any game that uses Unity, when that game gets installed, a fee is required to be paid to the developers of Unity from the company that made the game. So if I make a video game and I use the Unity engine and you install that game on your computer, I got to send some money to Unity. Now the catch is, if you uninstall the game and then come back later and then reinstall the game, guess what? I got to pay that fee again. Or if you get the game off Game Pass or PlayStation Plus or something like that, you didn't even pay for the game. I don't even get money necessarily for you playing the game. You install it through Game Pass, I got to pay money for you installing that game. They just announced that that's going to be their new process, and it has lit the gaming industry up because so many games are using this. Effectively, and they made it retroactive as well. So effectively what they did is said, okay, all these games that exist now, you're going to have to start paying us money for every time somebody downloads or every time somebody installs this game. And it has destroyed the market for a lot of games that are out there. Have you been following this story at all?
I've seen it on Twitter. Yeah. There's a lot of, developers who are putting up, hey, our solidarity, where screw Unity. Yeah. I don't want to be a douche, but I'm like, so before this, how is Unity getting paid? Did you have a subscription to Unity that you used to make the game on?
Yeah, so people paid a subscription. They paid so much money for a license to use Unity while they were developing the game. Then when the game gets launched, if they're not going to use Unity anymore, they don't have to pay anymore. And the subscription is not anything to scoff at. It was like, I think I remember reading one developer paying like $12,000 a month or something to use Unity while they were developing this game. And then they go on and release the game. And other places like Unreal, that's another engine. Their model is, once you hit $1 million, then we're going to start taking a percentage of your profits for every game that's sold, which makes sense, right? You don't have to pay unless you've been like a smash success. But this is just killing everybody. They decide they're going to take money from everybody. I wanted to mention it because it's hilarious to see a company ruin themselves so completely and totally and irrevocably. There's no turn coming back from this. All game developers are just like, we're not going to use Unity anymore. If we can avoid Unity, we're not going to. If you're making a new game, you're not going to use Unity. And they just tanked their entire company with this stupid idea that they decided to use, and they didn't talk to anybody about it. It's incredible.
So doing it retroactively is dirty. That's bullcrap.
Yeah.
Do you think, say they at some point are going to realize this was a horrible move, and they reverse the decision, they take it away? Do you think that's enough to maybe save them if they realize that within 6 months?
So they just released like a press release like 2 hours ago where the guy saying, hey, we're not going to do this. We promise. Here's all the new things we're going to do. And the resounding response from developers is like, it's too late. You already showed us what big jerks you are. You already showed us how terrible you're going to be to us. You already promised us something and then went back on your word and said there's nothing we can do about it because of the terms and services. So yeah, they can say whatever they want. They could give $100,000 to every game developer. It's not going to fix anything because guess what? You already showed everybody how you feel about game developers. And this was all a giant move just so they could make money off of mobile games, right? They want to make money off the people who are making mobile games and getting money from ad revenue. It's insane. And I kind of like to see it because these guys have not been great for PSVR, right? Light Brigade, for example, can't use foveated rendering because of bugs in Unity that have been known for about 2 years now. And they refuse to fix the bug, even though Unity has a development team of like 4,000 people. When Unreal Engine and all these other engine companies have like 1,000 people or something like that, they're like the most overstaffed development group that's ever existed, and they can't fix their bugs. It's insane. I hate to be happy that a company is going under, but I hope this company goes under because it's just such a stupid move, and it's bad for games what they're doing.
It is. We have more news to talk about. We're going to talk next segment about the Game of the Year candidates that we may propose that we think could be up for the award. We've got some Pokemon cards to open. We've got so much more. We're still so filled, and I've got to put it somewhere. Alex, I'm going to put it on your face. It's a bit early to start thinking about Christmas in my book, but if you are a planner, take a look at this NES Hallmark ornament with lights and sounds. True to the original form, this little console has a mini Super Mario Brothers, and when you push the start button, you hear the sounds of Super Mario Bros. It does take 3 batteries, but those are included. It's about 4 inches long, and overall, I really like this ornament. I think it looks good. I think it's a good option for any anyone wanting to add to their ornament collection. This is currently on pre-order at Hallmark and on Amazon for $19.99.
All right, welcome back to Gaming is in Session. We got segment 2 coming in hot for you. Here's what we got, Adam. It's near the end of the year. Most of the big releases have come out, right? It's September. You know, we might get some Christmas stuff. We know what's happening, but nothing's rustling our jimmies the way that the games that have already come out this year have. And so I think it's time.
My jimmies are rustled.
Your jimmies are rustled. Well, first of all, new gamer juice happening right here. I got another one. This is Jamaican soft drink pineapple.
Oh, wow.
Pineapple. Soft drink. There's no tea there. Let's see if it's good.
It won't be, but okay, let's see.
I don't know what's Jamaican about it, but it's got this cool little cat on it. Little Pete the cat.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Hard to see, but yeah, okay, I see.
Looks like a rabbit scrotum. All right, so Adam, you gather this list off of Twitter. I think it's a pretty accurate list from what we've seen. What people are expecting to be game of the year this year. This year's had a lot of heavy hitters, stuff that people have been waiting on a lot. So right out of the gate, of course, Baldur's Gate 3, right? Adam, have you followed Baldur's Gate 3? Are you going to play it? What's your knowledge of Baldur's Gate 3?
I have. I wanted to play it until I saw the gameplay and saw it was essentially D&D on, as a video game. I just feel like I wouldn't enjoy it, and especially for the length, I didn't end up pulling the trigger.
Less length, you want more girth, right?
I want more girth. But, obviously definitely should be a game of the year candidate. If honestly, I mean, we'll get to this, but it's my early one to, for some reason, take the lead. Well, I thought it was going to be Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which of course is definitely going to be one of the expected games that's, I thought for a long time was the front runner, the one that was going to win it. Baldur's Gate came out and just been fantastic. So we'll see about that. Spider-Man 2. Have you played Marvel Spider-Man 2?
No, it's not even out yet. It's about to come out. It just went gold.
I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, no,
I don't follow Spider-Man, obviously, folks. My apologies. I don't know.
I played Miles Morales. I played the original Spider-Man that was on PS4 that got upgraded to PS5. The thing is, they're very good games. They're like immaculate. They're like perfect in design and everything like that. They're extremely fun to play. But nothing sticks with me. When I get done, it's like I went to Applebee's and had dinner. Like, I enjoyed the food while I was there. I have no complaints. Nothing bothered me. And then I forget about it the second I leave.
Interesting.
That maybe is underselling Spider-Man 2. Like, it's graphically marvelous, technically marvelous, gameplay is marvelous. I just kind of don't care anymore. So I have like zero hype in my system for Spider-Man 2. Even though I know the game would come out, I'd play it, I'd enjoy every second of it, and then I just don't care anymore. It might be because of the IP tied to it. It might be because I know it's Spider-Man, that like the places it can go thematically and story-wise are only so far. I also just like, I can't imagine what they're going to do to break new ground in this genre of game when it's just a sequel to a game that's already like an open world superhero game. And I don't know. I can only feel excited so much.
Yeah. We'll find out. Obviously people are excited. They've bought the PS5 covers and controller. Yeah. I mean, immediately sold out. D Brand had to make their own knockoff versions of it. So next we got Sea of Stars. One thing initially I really like about the list here, and again, these are expected, they're not official, but I like that we have a wide range of game genres here. We've got Baldur's Gate, more of the D&D type. Obviously, like the Zelda and Spider-Man's kind of open world. Sea of Stars here is a turn-based RPG. I like that there's these different genres because it just sucks when all of them are like the same genre or the same type of game. They're all an open world. Not that exciting. So I like the list. I think this is accurate. This is a surprise to me. It was on PlayStation Plus. It was free game. I know people have really enjoyed it, but I am surprised too on Twitter and the people when they've spoke like the game enough to put it into this tier with these level of games. Does that surprise you at all, just based on the fact that it is a turn-based RPG?
It's not just that it's a turn-based RPG. It's like a 16-bit turn-based RPG, right? And I think the thing that people like about it, understandably, is that we all have this feeling. We all have these fond feelings of the games like Chrono Trigger and stuff we played on Super Nintendo, these old school RPGs. This game has come out and it's taken the magic of those games, the charm of those games, brought it into the modern era, and then fixed any of the old school frustrations you might have in terms of just like, graphical slowdown that might occur. We don't have to worry about that now because it's a modern engine. But then just efficiency and how game design has evolved, it's baked that into the gameplay. And it also kind of ups the ante a bit in terms of story and writing. I played it a little bit just to see what was going on, and I was immediately happy that like it doesn't waste your time in the way old school RPGs used to, with like the way the text scrolls like way too slow, or the combat just seems to kind of take forever sometimes. And the story picks up without you having to spend 30 minutes up front walking around talking to every single person in the town saying, if you want to save, go to the hotel. Like, I love that they've taken the modern sensibilities of games and put it into this old school game that still has the magic and charm of a classic turn-based RPG. So I'm not surprised that it's there. I'm surprised the game came out at all. I had no idea about this game, and then it came out, and I don't even like old school turn-based RPGs that much. And this is a game that I'm kind of enchanted by and want to play more of.
Yeah, I'm somewhat surprised that people are waiting a long time for Octopath Traveler 2. And I mean, that already had a well-established fan base, and this seemingly kind of blew it out of the water. Octopath Traveler 2 has not been discussed for Game of the Year consideration at all, where this has. So I wonder, what has this done that's usurped, Octopath that much? Regardless, moving on, Starfield. I haven't played. I don't even have an Xbox. Obviously, a big IP. Been waiting for it a long time. It's hard to tell when a game, it hasn't been out long. It comes out and there's the critic reviews, and then every single game is always user review bombed. So it's hard to tell really where it stands. What have you heard, or even do you plan on playing it before the announcement comes out?
So I started it. It was on Game Pass, right? So I was able to play it a little bit. I'm a fan. I really liked Fallout 3. I thought Fallout 3 was fantastic, right? It was the new game of that style when it came out. It broke new ground. I liked Oblivion. Skyrim was like okay to me. Fallout New Vegas was great. Fallout 4 I kind of bounced off of. Starfield is like now a new IP using that same game design ethos that they're using there. But I listened to a lot of podcasts about the game because I was interested in it. I love space exploration stuff. I love Mass Effect. And I was like, okay, maybe this will be cool. The thing that turned me off of this game is that like it's not really space exploration in the way you think it's going to be. It's not like No Man's Sky, right? A lot of people thought this game was going to be No Man's Sky, but then with the Fallout gameplay when you land on a planet. What it is just Fallout, except not quite an open world. You're fast traveling everywhere. You're not flying to a new planet. You're going into a menu and fast traveling to a new planet. And it's cool that the planets are kind of randomly generated and stuff like that. Not sort of randomly generated. Some planets are boring and some are exciting and stuff like that. But it has so much of the jank to it that like Fallout and Skyrim and stuff does. You talk to somebody and they like camera zooms in on their face and they stop what they're doing and turn to you and start talking to you. And it feels real plastic and stilted. And the gunplay feels good, but there's a lot of last gen PS3 era game design stuff that's happening in Starfield that kind of disappoints me that it hasn't evolved that much. There's people that absolutely love the game. They think it's like the best game they've ever played. There's a lot of people out there that say, wow, we've kind of been there and done that. And this just takes away some of the stuff I liked about Fallout and replaced it with stuff that I didn't like about, menu-based fast travel games. But I think the thing is, this happens with a lot of Game of the Year stuff where like sometimes to get nominated for Game of the Year, you just have to hype the game enough and spend enough money on the game. And that's kind of what's happening here. Like Xbox doesn't have any huge heavy hitters. They pumped all of their money into this game and it came out, and there's a fan base that starved. There's people waiting for this kind of game to come out, and they're going to love it regardless. So I'll play more. Maybe it turns out to be way better. I hear the ending is great, but man, do I want to slog through 30 hours of just like PS3 era gameplay to get to an ending that may or may not be good. I don't know.
Yeah, then the final game on the expected Game of the Year nominees is Final Fantasy 16, which I played thoroughly. I have to say, the first half of the game, I think, is the best game I've ever played in my entire life. Incredible. I love the combat. The story was impeccable, perfect. Couldn't ask for anything better. The use of just the characters, the Final Fantasy historical elements, like using Sid the way they did, all of the summons, everything they did, it was just perfect. The demo was incredible and immediately grabbed your attention and demanded that you played the game. And then you were like, okay, well, it's going to take a little drop off from the demo, and immediately it put you right. I mean, it was just perfect. Second half of the game, still overall wonderful game, but the second half, I don't know if it was a rumor, and I need to double check, that potentially a second set of people worked on the first half compared to the second half, probably because it's such a long game. And if that's true, it clearly showed. First half was far superior in every single aspect. Still a great game. I see it being on here. I personally don't think there's any chance it's going to win, especially with it being a PlayStation exclusive. I don't see it. But very good game. I love it. Glad I played it. Considered even playing it again. Not quite yet. At some point, I definitely will, but I'm not quite at that point. So those are the Game of the Year nominees, Alex. Based on what those expected would be, name 2 or 3 games you think that aren't on the list, but maybe should be.
I got more than 2 or 3 games, Adam.
You do,
Adam,
but I know you're going to go off for like 30 minutes on these random games.
So, right, I mean, just a personal preference, Armored Core 6 has just been incredible, like way better than I ever thought it could be, and it hits on all fronts. That needs to be honorable mention at the very least. I've enjoyed it more. I immediately enjoyed it more than Sea of Stars, Starfield. I know I'm going to enjoy it more than Spider-Man. I think it needs to be there. And then, like, a Resident Evil 4 remake. That game got tons of positive press, and we might get a VR mode before the end of the year. Wow, that certainly deserves that kind of
Do
thing.
you think it's not up there? Well, first of all, again, this is a fan-generated expected list.
Yeah,
so I keep reiterating that because it's not our final list. But the fact that that was early on in the year, do you think it's like out of sight, out of mind type of thing, and people just forgot about it?
Yeah, it's certainly like exactly. And another game I have on the list here, Hi-Fi Rush. That was one of the games. I think it came out in like January. It came out super early, and the buzz was, "Wow, we might have just gotten the game of the year, like in the first month of the year." People loved it so much, and this is Resident Evil 4 remake. It's funny, Resident Evil 4 remake and Hi-Fi Rush. They're both similar. They came out really early. They're both wonderfully loved games. They both are on the opposite side of the coin in terms of what I want to see in a game of the year. Look at the expected nominees: Baldur's Gate 3, Zelda, Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16. These are all well-trodden ground that's being done again. It's sequelitis. It's game design that we've seen before. Sea of Stars is a new IP, and it's technically fresh in that they're taking old game design, spoofing it up, and making it like appealing to the modern sensibilities. Starfield, it's a new IP, but it's really just Fallout. It is really just like the sequel to Fallout, but in space. It's not so fresh and new. All of those together, there's nothing new happening here. Resident Evil 4 Remake, it's a remake of a sequel that's already been remastered. So again, it's nothing new. But then Hi-Fi Rush, it's an entirely new IP. It just came out of nowhere. Everybody loved it. The game design is awesome. It's an action game, but you have to attack on the beat in order to like get your bonus up, and it really like synchronizes the music with the action, and the graphical design is great. This is the game Xbox gamers needed, and they need to praise more than Starfield. That I think it deserves extra credit for that. Along that vein, Humanity came out. And when was the last time you think a puzzle game won Game of the Year? I don't think it's ever happened. I mean, Tetris won Best Game of All Time, but that's almost like a nostalgia-fueled thing.
Yeah.
But knowing people love Humanity, even in the flat version, it wrecked your soul in VR. It's a great game. And I feel like a lot of times these new games that are great and maybe just aren't billion-dollar games kind of get overlooked.
I don't think there's any chance Humanity is going to be nominated. I would be shocked. Do you know about how many do they nominate? I don't even remember. I think it's around the order of 6 or something, right?
Well, honestly, there's not like a real official game award, right? I mean, there's the Game Awards, but that's like a glorified commercial.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's why I think some of these games like Hi-Fi Rush or Humanity, that's why I actually don't think they stand a chance. Because one, I feel like it's a popularity contest, and like you said, almost a glorified commercial. So the games like Zelda, which is why I was certain Zelda was going to win. Like all these Nintendo fanboys are out there, which is fine. Zelda, obviously, groundbreaking, kind of created games as we know it from for Nintendo back in the day. So I was like, oh, it's over. They already won it. Like, who even cares? I'm glad Baldur's Gate is at least like newish. Like, it's not just an IP that immediately we've seen every 2 years Nintendo revitalize. So, but yeah, I don't think either one of those two you mentioned, the last two at least, stand a chance. I hope I'm wrong.
That brings me to what I think. What I think the game of the year should be, almost regardless of what comes out from here forward till the end of the year. I think Vampire Survivors needs to be the game of the year for 2023 because it's a game that, again, is universally praised. It's a game that really bucks the trend of a lot of things people are hating in gaming in terms of like microtransactions and broken games on launch and games that, they release DLC that doesn't really add anything to it. In this game, they released DLC. Guess what? It made a 2-player mode for you out of thin air. And then the big thing is that Vampire Survivors basically invented a new genre. It invented a new style of game that now everybody else is trying to invent. What happens now is people are making a new game, and to get people hyped up for it, they clone Vampire Survivors, but with their own IP and their own characters and stuff like that, and release it as a game to hype up. That's so brilliant that this company came up with this game, released it out of nowhere, and it's been a smash hit. To me, that's, if you have to look at what game had the biggest impact in 2023, it's got to be Vampire Survivors for me. It's not going to get anything because it doesn't look like a fancy game.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine being like Vampire Survivors is better than Final Fantasy 16. Like, I can't imagine a world where I would say that. Like look at it, and
I get it, but then you look at metrics of like how much people have played it, how many copies have been sold, people buying it multiple times, and then overall impact on the gaming industry as a whole. We look back and it's almost like when Angry Birds came out and now there's a million games like Angry Birds, right? It, for better or worse, it significantly changed the direction of the industry. And for Vampire Survivors, I think it changed it in a positive direction. This is great game design. They're not stealing from you or anything either. It's just pure distilled fun is what it is. And I'm so happy when a game comes out like that. I hope it gets recognized for it, but I doubt it will. It'll probably win mobile game of the year.
Which I guess better than nothing.
Yeah.
So what game do you think has the best chance of winning? Not the one you want to, but which one do you think has the best chance?
So I'll say why I don't think these other ones will. Marvel Spider-Man 2, it's a sequel. It's Spider-Man, it's great, but it's just Spider-Man again. Unless they do something crazy inventive, you're not going to see that. Sea of Stars, you're not hearing enough about it. Everybody loves it, but you're not hearing anything about it. Starfield, it's like too middle of the road in terms of overall critical consensus. Final Fantasy.
Do you think something being an exclusive hampers their chance of winning?
I don't think so. It would seem like I don't think so. Like Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is not hampered because it's only on Switch. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is hampered because it is basically Breath of the Wild DLC, right? It's the same engine. I think it's even the same map. Just DLC for Breath of the Wild, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Final Fantasy. So I think what we come down to is Baldur's Gate 3 or Final Fantasy 16. And again, it sounds stupid. I think the number at the end of the name is what kind of seals the fate for Final Fantasy 16. It's like, yes, this is the 16th time they've gone after this franchise. It could be an entirely different game, but that just contextualizes the whole experience of like, this is just a better version of what I've done before. Baldur's Gate 3 came out to some of the most critical acclaim I've ever seen a video game come out with. And in terms of what people have wanted for a very long time, it's a game that's finally delivered on it in terms of a deep, choice-heavy, highly customized, funny but not too funny experience, Western RPG for a beloved franchise from a beloved group of developers that we've been waiting for years to see them released. I think it's definitely going to be Baldur's Gate 3. But there's certainly going to be groups like, I don't know, just people who don't play PC RPGs that are going to ignore it. And that's what gives Final Fantasy 16 a leg up in that direction. If there were an Oscar for video games, Baldur's Gate 3 would be what wins the favorite for Best Picture. But then Final Fantasy 16, I think, would ultimately win it.
See, I don't think. I think Final Fantasy 16 doesn't have a chance. I think it would go Baldur's Gate and then Zelda. After that, I don't know what it would be. I think people share my sentiment about Final Fantasy 16. I feel like it being an exclusive almost hampers it. Because if you have a PlayStation, do you get to like enjoy it? So I don't think they sold as many as if it were universal. I mean, once it opens up on Nintendo and Xbox, they're gonna sell crap tons more of it. But I don't know. I feel maybe I'm wrong. I guess hopefully I'm wrong. I don't know. But that I think came. It was exciting and now has gone. Baldur's Gate has kept the momentum going somehow. Yeah. And I think
it's so long, people are just going to keep playing it.
Yeah. And so I think ultimately you are right. I think I would be blown away if anything other than Baldur's Gate 3, won. But I haven't played it. But if it's well deserved, you made a lot of good points on why it should be. And I have no complaints about it at all. But if you're listening, watching, let us know what you think. We'd love to hear other game nominees. Yes.
Can I drop a hot take here?
Do it.
Do you want to know what the game of the year really is?
I don't have any idea where you're going, my friend.
Resident Evil 8. Now, yes, it came out 2 years ago, almost won game of the year then. But the VR mode is an entirely different game, right? I mean, people say, yeah, Resident Evil 8, it's a port. It came out 2 years ago. You're just playing it in VR. Just playing a game in VR isn't the same thing as, to me, that's a bigger change in gameplay than going from Zelda Breath of the Wild to Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The jump from Resident Evil 8 to Resident Evil 8 VR is a bigger shift. It's a newer experience, a newer game, more than Spider-Man 2 is a new game over Spider-Man 1. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I do. It's not how anyone. Dude, VR isn't going to win jack crap. There's no way.
I think it's an interesting question. Do you think VR could ever win Game of the Year? I know there's one outlet that I follow. They gave Half-Life Alyx Game of the Year over all games, and I thought that was pretty impressive. But I think they were kind of a niche case. I wonder if any VR game is ever going to win Game of the Year.
I think way in the future, when it becomes more mainstream, it will, but it's not happening anytime soon.
Because we got like Forza Motorsports coming out this year, and people love Forza. You have World Rally Championship, you have F1 2022 or whatever. But how could anything come even remotely close to Gran Turismo 7 VR, right? How could any of those games hold a candle to Gran Turismo 7 VR?
Because
but when it comes,
I mean, and we'll end up going on a whole tangent. There's a very good reason though. That's the game of the year. Let us know what you think. Alex, the reason that is the case is because not enough people play VR, let alone PlayStation specific VR. And even the people who cover it, they don't even play it. Because if you read their reviews, it's obvious they haven't played it. So that's why. Because dang, people don't play it.
Yeah, it blows my mind that somebody could talk about video, like racing games. Somebody's going to talk about what's the best racing game of 2023, and they're not going to discuss Gran Turismo 7 VR when it is the ultimate racing game that there like has ever been.
Yeah, I think, I don't know what you could argue to say it's not the best. Even in the flat game, it was exceptional. Then you add the VR and just how perfect it is as a driving simulator. I mean, it is, but the issue is what? I forgot how many PSVR 2s have been sold. So few people have played it that they don't see the magic, man.
That's what hurts. Is it's as much as people want to say it's not a popularity contest. If a game isn't popular enough, right, then people just aren't going to play it. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's painful. Because to me, I think like a game like Synapse on PSVR 2, I I love that game so much. It was so fresh. It was so enjoyable. It was so fluid and so good. It's not going to get even honorable mention, maybe even on best virtual reality game. But I don't know. I need something to change the game, and it did. But most of the games that win Game of the Year don't, and it's frustrating for me, Adam.
I mean, it almost reminds me of like Earthbound back in the day. Like it flopped, it sucked, and it wasn't until years and years later that people, for some reason, started playing it and were like, "This is a masterpiece. This is incredible. This like revolutionized what we thought RPGs were, especially back in the day. Still, even today, and back then they had no idea, and that should have been Game of the Year back then. And guess what? It wasn't talked about. It was seen as a failure. That's almost what I feel like Gran Turismo is going through, and no one's going to mention it, but it really is the best. Like it is the best racing game.
Yeah.
It's sad. You're going to make me cry.
Did you know, were you following video games when the original Nier came out?
No.
Yeah. That game, it was like a joke. People were making joke videos about how bad the game was. It was heavily derided. I got copies of the game for like $4 at GameStop because nobody wanted it. And now everybody even agrees that the 360 version is a masterpiece video game. And now they made the sequel to it. It just goes to show, like, whatever the feeling is currently for a game, it doesn't seem to ever hold over time.
Which is so weird. You would think we would become more critical over time, right? But at least in those two examples, that's not the case.
I think that's what happens is we do become more critical over time. Most of the games get worse, and then the really precious, really special games get better with age. So like Nier Automata, as we get more critical, we start to accept Nier Automata for things that were maybe just bad because of that was the way games were then. But the really good things about it are so good that it stands the test of time. Kind of like watching a really old movie. Like, Avatar might win Best Picture. 20 years from now, are people going to be like, oh, if you want to learn about film, you should watch Avatar? Because it's just like, yeah, maybe it's a fun movie, but it's like graphics, and that's it. I feel like that happens with games too now. Like, if the game's not, technically dazzling enough, you're not going to win Game of the Year.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it will be interesting. I'm glad that at least we have, like I said, a good assortment of games. Let's open some cards. All right, Alex. So we're going to open with you some of the Pokemon 151. This is a new set that came out featuring the original 151 Pokemon, which, were you ever a Pokemon person? You weren't, were you?
No, I tried to be, and I just couldn't. Especially when they started adding Pokemon to it, it's like I can't catch up to the first set. You're gonna add 100 more to me, Adam. I do want to know, when you open these packs, do you know right away if a card's good or not? Like, how do you know if a card's good?
You'll very quickly be able to tell. You will be able to tell me, sir, if they are good or not. So right off the bat, I want do you know any of the Pokemon?
Yeah, I know him. Like Geodude, I know him. He's floating head with hands. Jigglypuff, yeah, he sings up in Smash Brothers. I know the old school ones. Most of the old.
Yeah, okay, and these are clearly the best ones. So these
one? Yeah,
cards you don't care. They're the Charmander, and see they've got reverse hollows now. So that's a reverse hollow up in there. There's a Poliwrath.
Are they all reverse hollow?
No, only some of them. Then you get a rare card, and that's just like a normal holographic there. But still not really a good card.
So you're going to know the best. The flame one is worth the most, right?
This?
Yeah.
No, that is the absolute garbage card, Alex. Okay, so
if I were to sell you a flame one, you had to buy it off me. How much did you pay for it? 5 cents?
Honestly, it's more like a 2 cent. It's probably a 2 cent card. Maybe if I were nice to you, I would go ahead and do that for you. I'm not going to sit here and take forever. I'm hoping we pull something good.
If you get a Squirtle, can I have it?
You can. I'll let you Squirtle.
Your rare holographic card was an energy card.
Yeah. Well, there was also this holographic card. It's just garbage pulls, but it's almost what. Okay, there's another freaking Charmander. Come on, we got to have something good. Go through here, left. Mr. I actually like Mr. Mime. I don't know why. See, that art I think is kind of cool. I like the hand drawn stuff. Nowadays, they've gone so much into the CGI bullcrap that I hate that. It doesn't look good. It doesn't show artistry, at least in my opinion. Metapod.
Is that just like a person writing in a book?
Cool. That's kind of cool. This guy? No, he's on the computer, dog. He's on the computer.
Bill's transfer. That's my favorite Pokemon.
Freaking Bill. I do like me a good Cloyster. We got okay. So that one is not like a great card, but clearly you can tell that Arbok EX is like a next level card, right?
Yeah.
Like here is a normal rare next to it, Arbok EX. I mean, I do love that artwork though. Look at that.
When you say a card is good, it doesn't mean like in terms of the trading card game. It means in terms of value, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I do not play the trading card game. I could not tell you what is good or what is not. I can certainly tell you what's not worth 5 cents, like that card. Okay, last pack magic this was already even opened. What?
Yeah, that means something rare. They slid a rare one in there for you,
dude. The thing is, people are gonna think this is rigged now. But dude, I love Shelter. I don't know why. I think I was a Shelter in another life. I love him.
I think you like his open mouth and tongue.
Yeah.
Who's the honey?
Oh, dude, I swear. I mean, this isn't like a fantastic card. This is probably $7. Look at that, though.
That does look fancy. But
dude, this is one of the cards I wanted most, even above the big boys, the Charizards, the Venusaurs. I just look at that reflection.
Which Pokemon is that? I can barely even see what it is, though, Adam.
Oh, it's a Poliwhirl. Poliwhirl. There's a stupid Vaporeon and another. Yeah, so that is that's the best hit I've had after about 20 packs. But I mean, again, that's like $7. But still, it's a card I wanted. It's dope. I was gonna buy it either way, so now I have it. There it is, Alex. There is your first booster bundle opening for Pokemon 151. How do you feel?
I feel good. It's awakened things to me, Adam. If you ever get a Squirtle, can I have it?
Dude, I will give you all the Squirtles you want. I've got tons of them.
No euphemism. I like Squirtle. He's my favorite.
I have the squirts right now if you want them.
Yeah, just put them in a cup. Send it my way. Belle Delphine style.
One of the hottest recent drops was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at the PlayStation State of Play. Coming out February 29th, you have multiple ways to buy. There's a standard edition, deluxe edition, and then this mother of all items, the collector's edition. This collector's edition comes in at $350. Wowzer. What would possess anyone to spend all of your materia on something like that? Well, how about the base game for the PS5, a hardcover art book, a mini soundtrack, a steelbook case, Midgar bangle accessory, and a 19-inch Sephiroth statue. We don't know much about the set other than the screenshots, but dang, son. You also do receive some in-game bonuses like summoning materia, including Moogle's Trio and the Magic Pot, a choker accessory, and an Orchid bracelet armor. But is that worth $350? Well, apparently, because it sold out almost immediately. Keep your eyes out for potentially new pre-orders on this, and let's hope that the pre-orders at least went to people who actually enjoy the game and not just scalpers. Regardless of how you play, Rebirth is going to be one for the books. But Alex, any last parting words? This is episode 8 of Gaming is in Session, and gaming was in session. We packed a lot in, my friend. We packed it in, and I've exploded all over.
Yeah, last farting words is what you said. Don't try to hide it, Adam. You said last farting word. I don't have any last farting words. Adam, when we get done with this, I'm hopping right back into Armored Core. That's how good it is, man. I can't stop playing it. My wife doesn't even see me anymore. I'm in here hanging out with robots.
Well, hurry up and finish it so you can move on to something else. I'm trying to get you to play a Final Fantasy game just in time for Rebirth. You got till February. Hurry up and finish it.
Okay, I will, and
Okay.
I'll send it to you so you can play it before Rebirth comes out.
Maybe. Thank you, folks. Gaming is in session. We'll catch you next week.